All right, let's go over to the next game, get to the Big 12 now, with number 11 BYU storming back and beating Iowa State 41-27. How about this, Dalton? I predicted BYU to win, and they won.
Oh, you were sweating.
I was sweating.
You were sitting upstairs sweating this one. You're like, oh, what did I do?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go and piss off a pretty big fan base we have out there in Provo.
No, we're cool now. Me and BYU fans are cool now because before
the curse is broken.
The curse is broken.
I don't even know if it was ever on, but
it was on because every time I picked against BYU won, and I picked for BYU in this one, and now they won this game too. So hopefully we're cool now. Me and the BYU faithful.
You got bailed out by the Bear.
I did.
That's what happened there?
I did. I got bailed out by Bear Bachmeier, of course. BYU, how about this? 8-0 in back-to-back seasons for the first time in program history that they've done that.
It's a long history, too.
That's, long and rich history that BYU has in that program, too. So the first time ever they started off 8-0 in back-to-back years. Let's go to the highest grade players, starting off with the BYU Cougars. Their highest grade player was edge rusher Logan Latui, 85.7. Evan Johnson, the cornerback, 78.7. Wide receiver Parker Kingston, 74.1. Edge rusher Viliami Pauha, 72.1. And defensive tackle John Tamopeo with a 68.7 grade. And you mentioned before, Bear Bachmeier, 81.7 grade for the true freshman quarterback. Iowa State, meanwhile, their highest grade players in the loss and their third straight loss. Now, linebacker Cooper Ebel, 76.7. Carson Hansen, 74.8. Marcus Neal Jr., the safety, 72.4. Tight end Benjamin Bramer, 70.7. Jamison Patton, the corner, 69.2. And Rocco Becht, 65.7, who threw a career-high 3 interceptions in this loss for the Cyclones. Dalton, what told the story in this game?
All right, so every week for BYU, every single week, it's just been, especially with Bear Bachmeier, a true freshman quarterback, it's just been another step and another step and another. Okay, now we're going to go win a big road game. All right, now we got a 14-point comeback against Colorado. Now we got a fourth quarter comeback against Arizona. Now we got the rivalry game against Utah. And I think the one thing missing from the profile, remember I've been talking about this for a while, how it was good. It was the run game, and he was one of the best play-action passers in the country. Okay, and there was a lot that went wrong for BYU, as you mentioned, probably your fault. As in the first half of this game, there was a lot that went wrong for BYU. They were falling for the Max Chadwick curse here. But Bear Bachmeier, the one thing that was left in the profile was, okay, can you be this productive a passer this early in your career without play action? And if the run game isn't going great, right? And if we're not dominating on the ground, because I figured if BYU was going to win like this, especially score 41 points, well, they were going to run for 250, 300 yards like they've been doing in some of these games with LJ Martin, right, as the engine. That's everything we talked about in the preview. And then you get to the play action, and Bear plays the complementary role. And that's, I think, the big thing to say about it is the first 7 games, he played the complementary role as the true freshman. This was the first game we saw him put the team on his back. And the best number I have for it is an 83.4 passing grade without play action. The development there, if that sticks, now I feel like, oh, shoot, Bear Bachmeier could, in a couple weeks, go to Texas Tech and win. Yep. They can go undefeated. They could do who knows what with the magic going on in BYU this year, carrying over even more so than they had last year, which is just nuts to say because last year was crazy too. But no play action, 83.4 passing grade, 15 of 22, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, a big-time throw, and even when he had to scramble, took off 3 times, got 2 first downs out of it. That is the biggest thing for me. And against a darn good Iowa State defense that's very sound and we know can cover. And obviously he's got clean pockets to work with the 3-man rush, but it's still not easy throwing into drop 8 and everybody's staring at you, and you're down by multiple scores in this game. Now that we have seen this, with Bear Bachmeier carrying them back from the depths and LJ Martin getting hurt early in this game, and the run game for BYU really became you could not draw up the first quarter and a half of this game worse for BYU. Even more so, okay, they fall behind in Colorado by 14, but they still have enough time to run the football, and Colorado makes their mistakes. Arizona, they're down 10 late, but some special teams saying things help them out. They still stay in good field position. They still won that game running the football. They couldn't do it in this game. And the fact that they won anyway, and convincingly at that, what was it, a 31-7 run, was it?
Yeah.
To do it convincingly on the back of your true freshman quarterback. Now, this game makes me look at BYU. They were already good. We knew they were good. The defense is good, LJ Martin, all that. This game makes you look at them different. This is a different level now if Bachmeier can now stack this type of performance and they can just drop back and throw the football.
Yeah. And I'm going to shout him right here for most impressive, Bear Bachmeier, because when LJ Martin went down with an injury in this game, you and I both looked at each other like,
you were screwed.
Yeah,
at that
this
point.
is
You
not
were
good.
done for.
That's a top 10 running back in the country right now in LJ Martin, the way he's playing. And when he went down and did not come back from that injury, and hopefully he's okay because they need him some big games coming up soon. But when he went down, I didn't know if Bear Bachmeier could carry this offense to victory, and he did just that with an 81.7 grade. He threw for 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 2 big-time throws, 1 turnover-worthy play. He also led BYU with 60 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown, like I mentioned before, in a game where LJ Martin got hurt. He proved, without play action, that he can carry this offense. Without Martin in this one. He played really a clean brand of football, and the difference was he did that. Rocco Beck did not do that, like I mentioned before, with a career-high 3 interceptions. That's a major reason why BYU won this game. They had the better quarterback in this game.
And BYU's defense, you talk about that 31-7 run, the 7 side, if that still stands, their defense has been outstanding all year, and it was after the first 20, 25 minutes, they were outstanding, especially in the second half of this game. 2 more numbers to throw at you from Bachmeier. How about 5 for 6 on the deep ball, 20 or more air yards? And how about, look, Iowa State, they're known for not sending too much pressure, but they felt like they had to in this game. Got blitzed 44% of the time, 10 of 15 against the blitz. The composure now, and I told you, it's, I know, but, before you were talking about when you had them ranked like a little bit lower than you might expect, and like the resume, and Colorado's not a great team, and Arizona's not a great team, right? But it's more about the development of this kid in these situations that now, like to me, a big reason they won this game in this adversity is because they won the Colorado game down 14 early, is because they won the Arizona game down 10 and double overtime and all of that, because he can go in there. Now, this situation, albeit early in the game and the LJ Martin injury didn't help, this situation now is not new to Bear Bachmeier. If they go to Texas Tech and they're down 10, now that's great defense and that's a whole different animal. But this isn't different. They were down to Utah 14-10. Pretty late in that game, right? It's not new to him anymore. And you can see when you watched him in this game, the composure and just the sheer calm that he has, whether he's in the pocket or outside of it. This is special what we're seeing right now at BYU with this quarterback.
Yeah, actually it was a 31-3 run that BYU
31-3. I mean, yeah. I'd credit the defense. I mean, Evan Johnson with another pick. The linebackers, as always, are great. I mean, they just stepped it up. They can clamp you down on defense, especially their secondary is outstanding, isn't it? I mean, but all the way, they play team football, but you have a quarterback playing like this now. This is and now you get a bye week going into Texas Tech in 2 weeks, which suddenly becomes, I mean, you got a couple of huge games. You got Texas Tech and Cincinnati coming up both on the road here in the last few weeks of the season, but all of a sudden you believe like, their quarterback can get them through some things now.
Absolutely.
This is unbelievable performance from him.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Bear Bachmeier is closing in on Malik Washington to be the highest graded true freshman quarterback in the country right now.
He'll do it with more games like this.
Yeah, 80.4 for Malik Washington and a 79.5 overall grade for Bear Bachmeier. Really, the stat for me is just BYU in the second half, man. Because Iowa State stormed out of the gates, like Dalton said, and took a 24-10 lead in the first half, and they looked very much in command of the game. BYU responded late in the second quarter to go down 24-17 into halftime, and then, like I mentioned before, 24-3 run in the second half. They held Iowa State to negative 0.4 EPA per play in the second half. Had a back-breaking pick 6 for Iowa State by Falatau Satuala. Also picked off Rocco Becht again in that second half. 2 of his 3 interceptions came in that second half of the game. They have pulled off comebacks like these all season long, and they never seem to blink right now. And that's why, for the second straight year, BYU is 8-0 to start the season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think I saw somebody on Twitter just dub them the cardiac Cougars, which I mean, this is used for just about any team apparently. But I just think that's it. Is they are not daunted by any means, and they have not been. Kalani Sitake's not been afraid of his true freshman quarterback. They have found a way. Aaron Roderick's done what an outstanding job too this year that Aaron Roderick has done.
Yep.
Working this kid in little by little, heavy run game, heavy play action, and then in this game going, hey, all right, this one's on you, dude. You want a big road win in a place that's very hard to win in Ames? Let's go. And it was time to do it. They didn't have to, I like that they didn't have to do that in the third and fourth game. It's the 8th game of the year for them, and they didn't have to do that till now, and he was ready for that moment. Unbelievable stuff. And I'll tell you, you know me, watching BYU games the last few weeks, my most impressive guy. Give me Parker Kingston any day of the week, whether it's receiving, punt returns. He's one of the best punt returners in the country. And there were questions outside of Chase Roberts what this team was going to do at receiver. They lost Darius Lassiter. They lost Keelan Marion. He transferred to Miami. And who's going to be the number 2 aside from Roberts? Parker Kingston's that guy.
And Marion was a returner, too, for them, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, so Kingston had to take over that role. But 7 catches in this game, 133 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now he can make contested catches. He's a great route runner. He's got at least 110 yards in 3 of his last 4 games. He's become, I almost want to say, 1 and 1A with Chase Roberts. And Roberts had a great game in this one, too. But what Parker Kingston is adding and the chemistry that he clearly has with Bachmeier on these deep shots, if that's what we're going to get this version of Parker Kingston on top of the punt returns, he had a huge punt return against Arizona that was a huge play in that game. This offense hits another gear with Bachmeier and with Kingston as the number 2 here. Just a great day for BYU, man. Going into a bye week and then this final stretch, a tough stretch, but they've got every shot to win the Big 12 with their quarterback playing like this and Parker Kingston playing like this on the outside.
Yeah, it's a great shout out because BYU, man, the next man up mentality, I think, embodies that program right now. Because remember, obviously, Jake Retzloff leaving the program in the summer with all the controversy surrounding him. So their star quarterback leaves the program in the summer. You have a true freshman in Barrett Bachmeier transferred to BYU in May after going to Stanford for a little bit, right? So a true freshman quarterback who's barely been on campus for only a couple months before he starts his first game. And he's done great so far. You mentioned Parker Kingston filling in for Keelan Marion. Keelan Marion was our first-team All-American return specialist going into the year, transferring to Miami. So you lose an All-American returner, and you have Parker Kingston filling in for him too. So this next man up every single time for BYU. It was really the story of them last year. It's the story of them this year too. And just shout out Kalani Sitake and what he's doing in that program right now, man. It cannot be overstated how amazing of a job he has done at that program over the last couple of years. And like I said, BYU, the only undefeated team left right now in the Big 12, and they could be on their way to their first college football playoff appearance in program history.
What a game we've got in 2 weeks against Texas Tech. What a game. I can't wait for it. I mean, we're just getting – it feels like we're getting a different game of the year.
They play Cincy, too.
And they play Cincy in November here in Cincinnati. That's going to be –
we have to go to that game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe the most surprising, huge game of the year is going to be BYU-Cincinnati. But yeah.
There's talk about Cincinnati hosting game day for that game.
We'll see.
That'd be pretty electric.
Both of them keep up the momentum,
that
see where
would
it goes.
Pretty electric.
It very well could be for a spot in the Big 12 title game, for sure.
Absolutely. Massive, massive win for BYU, though, coming back and beating Iowa State 41-27. Even though BYU once again entered the game as underdogs, they win over Iowa State. Maybe next time they won't be underdogs in their next matchup. We'll see, though.
And now you can pick them comfortably.
Now I can't pick them comfortably.
You can feel pretty good about it.
I didn't feel comfortable picking them because I knew what I was doing with BYU faithful, but now I could do it. Now I could be an objective analyst with them, too. All right.